Hello everyone, welcome to class series, and in this video we're gonna be discussing our question answers of our poem The Little Busy Bee. Let's mount our first main in that our first question is, who is the poet speaking about? The answer of this question is, the poet was speaking about the busy bee. Our second question is, why did the bee sit on the flower? The answer of this question is, the bee sits on the flower to collect nectar, and afterward the nectar changes into sweet honey. Our third question is, how does the bee build her cell? The answer of this question is, the bees are very clever and build the hive cell by using wax which secretes from its body. The cells are uniform and beautiful. Bees build it skillfully. Our fourth question is, I would be busy too. Who does I refer to? The answer of this question is, I refer to the poet himself. Our fifth question is, what does sweet food mean in the context? The answer of this question is, in the context, the sweet food means honey. Our sixth question is, who does Satan manage to work through? The answer of this question is, Satan manages to work through idle people and bring about destruction. Let's mount to our second main in that our first question is, people like the bee because option A, it is clever, B, it sits on the opening flower, C, it works hard, D, they get honey from it. The answer of this question is option D, they get honey from it. Our second question is, and labors hard to store it well. Here it refers to A, the bee, B, the honey, C, the wax, and D, the flower. The answer of this question is option B, the honey. Let's move to our third main in that our first question is, why does the poet call the bee busy? The answer of this question is, the bee is always working from morning to evening. They collect the honey from the flowers and store it well in the hive. They are not idle and do not spend time wastefully. So the poet calls the bee busy. Our second question is, let my first years be past. In that our question A is, what does first years refers to? The answer of this question is, here the first years refers to the early life of the poet, which means his boyhood. Our question B is, how does the poet want to spend his 5 years? The answer of this question is, the poet wanted to spend his 5 years in reading books, working or playing. Our question C is, why does he want to do so? The answer of this question is, he wanted to do so because it gives fruit at the end of life. Our third question is, how can you say that the bee is intelligent and clever? The answer of this question is, the bee builds its hive very skillfully. The hive is beautiful to see and it has hundreds of compartments. It is strong and made up of wax that is secreted in its body. It converts nectar into honey, which is sweet and healthy. So the poet says that the bee is intelligent and clever. Our fourth question is, what is admirable about the work of the bee? The answer of this question is, the beehive is very beautiful to see, but it is very complicated to build. The skill of building the hive and conversion of nectar to honey are admirable works of the bee. Our fifth question is, why does the poet want us to be like the bee? The answer of this question is, the poet wants us to be like the bee because the bee is useful to the society. We should also be helpful to society by doing good and useful work. Our sixth question is, why should we not keep ourselves idle? What will happen if we are idle? The answer of this question is, we should not keep ourselves idle because Satan finds some mischief and rums our life. Our seventh question is, what is the message of the poem? The answer of this question is, the message of the poem is, Kaya Kave Kalisa means we should always do the good and useful work. Our eighth question is, which lines do you like the best in the poem? Give reasons for your choice. The answer of this question is, how did the little busy bee improve each sang her? These are the best lines in the poem because the little busy bee is always busy and make use of its time. It builds beautiful hives and collects honey, which is useful to a man. Honey never gets spoiled. Our ninth question is pick out the rhyming words in the poem and add more words to each of the rhyming pairs. The answer of this question is the rhyming words in the poem are sighing opening, busy honey, har flower, bee tea, sell well, skill still, to do, play day.